Hi, it's Sam.
And Phil here. You may have seen me from places like ITV Border News and ITV Granada News.
He worked up about it and I missed out on it, so I'm not very happy. I'm sure they actually arranged it one day when I wasn't going to be there. If you haven't already seen it, go to our cover image at the top of the page and click on that, and there's a video of Phil doing his bit.
They said they wanted to speak to the talented one.
Yeah, but I wasn't there, so they had to speak to you. Anyway, today's Ask AJ episode, we're talking about something that we were asked about just today, actually. We went to see a lovely house that we can't talk about just yet. It was very special, but with absolutely no curb appeal. And it's not because the house wasn't attractive, but the frontage of the house was like that big, and the house was like that big. And you can't really get to the front of the house without literally walking down lane to the front of the house.
Yeah, we can probably say it was a converted barn, and therefore you entered at the side of the barn, and so just looking at that barn now.
At the very narrow end of a very big barn on 3 stories. Three stories. So what we're saying is that it was very much undersold from the outside, and the gentleman of the house asked us very rightly. The previous agent had taken some drone shots to try and show the expanse of the barn, but actually they weren't very flattering. They just showed lots and lots of grey wall and roof.
It's a funny angled house, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's lots of other accommodation and buildings around about, so it just wasn't a very flattering, way to show the house. So we were pondering about exactly how we would show that particular house, and we decided we'd go for more the kind of teaser strategy of trying to entice buyers by just showing them little glimpses of the house, because we know that once they get to the house and get inside, the house is unbelievably beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, so we need to control what we can control, and that's not without trying to fool anyone, but we know that what people will be able to appreciate once they're inside the home, and it's only right that we give them the opportunity to do that. And in order to do that, we feel we need to show
less rather than more.
Yeah. So we won't be showing the whole property on the outside. It will just be the front door area, which is really pretty, isn't it? And then inside is amazing.
Inside is just stunning, and it's a bit like a TARDIS. You walk in, and the first thing I said was "wow" as soon as we walked through the door, because it really does take your breath away. It's so beautiful. And so one of the things that the previous agent had done to try and counter this problem of there being no real kind of curb appeal, or none that people could use, was that they wanted to do like a video walkthrough. In fact, they had done a video walkthrough. Well, we feel that has the opposite effect, because video walkthroughs don't tend to be very flattering. And this is one of those houses, and perhaps you have a house that's like this too. You have to be in the house to appreciate it. You can't really get the feeling of it from photographs and videos, and all that was doing was really decreasing viewings instead of increasing viewings. And so
yeah, really, it's an uncontrolled viewing. It's a viewing. It's a viewing where
we're not present.
A, we're not present to answer objections, but B, we can't control which room they go in, or you can't actually control which room they go in, but we can change that order in to the buyer to what they necessarily need. And you're showing everything in one go. You're not giving the viewer the opportunity to see exactly what they want to see, and especially with views, it has lovely views, isn't it? You can never get a view or the feeling of sitting there and looking out over the view without being there.
No, and actually what we find is when we are on a viewing, the first thing somebody does when they come into any room is they go straight over to the window.
Yeah, and that's also a comfort thing.
I think so, because they want to turn them back to you and just think about it. But in that house, if they go and walk up to the window, they're practically going to buy that house, because it was so amazing. Views all the way to somewhere we can't say. Anyway, so I wanted to show you a couple of ideas of the ways that we counter this particular issue, because normally when a unique house doesn't sell quickly, it's nothing to do with price or even the way it's presented or marketed, but it's actually everything to do with the fact that the photograph of the front doesn't showcase the property well. So in other words, it's usually a difficult to photograph house, and if we can counter that, we've cracked it, and we're going to get the right viewers round. So I mean, I've been selling houses for a little bit longer than Phil, and what I've noticed is the ones that have been the most tricky are the ones that are very difficult to photograph from the front. But once we'd countered that particular issue, just that one issue, everything else became so much easier. And it wasn't just one problem after another. That was the big problem. So one of the ideas, and we've got the lovely Rebecca here, but she's wearing practically a dressing gown because it's so cold. She's standing outside, and slippers. So we're not going to ask her to come on camera, even though I could just turn it around. She's our amazing designer, ultra talented, most talented designer in the world, actually.
Also, glimpse shot of Rebecca on the news last night.
A glimpse shot, 2 seconds she counted. She did pause it though, didn't you, Bex? So she's our amazing designer, and this is one of her brochures. There's going to be a helicopter going overhead, so I hope you can still hear us. That she's designed. Now, the issue with this particular house, not there's an issue with it, but the issue with photographing it for us was the fact that, if I hold it there, Bex, can you see? Was the fact that there's actually just too much in the image to show it well. So what Bex has done, she's added this lovely heart cutout. So now your eye is focused on the most important part of the image. Not trying to hide anything else, trying to focus the eye. So that's one treatment of you know, the way that we market a house, to be able to show the buyer exactly what they will be getting and try and exclude any distractions without misleading.
Yeah, this is similar, where it's often barns and farms that have this issue, where they're obviously not designed to look aesthetically pleasing upon entrance or on arrival. So
and obviously they're quite often hidden down. That's down a lane,
yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah.
So people don't mind doing, buyers don't mind doing drive-bys. You know, we get drive-bys on all our houses. We know that. We probably get 10 drive-bys for every one viewing booked, and that's absolutely fine. But if your house is hidden down a lane, and the lane or the drive only goes to that house, that buyer isn't going to want to put themselves in a vulnerable position where they're driving to the front of that person's house and it's very obvious what they're doing. So they'll just discount it. So if we can show it in its best possible light in other ways and be creative about that marketing, then we'll get viewings where maybe that house hasn't had viewings before. So another one, this was a tricky one as well, because this one, Rowanthwaite, is actually a building plot. And there isn't really anything to show apart from what is actually a semi-derelict house, as you can see on the inside. It doesn't really look derelict, but trust me, it is. So what we did there, I say we, the royal we, is Rebecca designed this beautiful visual branding for the house, Rowanthwaite. If you can see, it's got a little shimmer on it as well. And that is the front of the brochure. But as you open the brochure, we really wanted to make sure that people were getting immersed in that experience of looking at the brochure. So as you open it, you're encouraged to then open it again. And that means that people don't sort of stop on that bit, but they carry on enjoying the experience of that brochure. So that's another example. And then a third example, this beautiful cottage, Green Styles, one of our favourite houses, not very far away from the office, and it's got a fantastic lake view as well. It's a lovely looking house, but this was taken across the road, and we can't really get any higher above the hedge than this. So therefore what Bex has done is she's given the front of the house sort of second place and made sure that the front of the house is, or the front of the brochure rather, is showcasing sort of the Laura Ashley / Kath Kidston. Is that right, Bex? Is it fair to say that? Yeah, she's saying yes. Of the sort of the personality of the house, and then you can see that as you go through the brochure, you're drawn in. So what we're saying really is that if you're not getting viewings on your house, and your house is difficult to photograph, and your agent is trying to show too much of the house, too much of the outside, too much on drone, too much on the inside, too much on video, walkthroughs, 360s, that actually trying to do the opposite may have a better effect for you. It may bring you in viewers that actually are so teased and excited by what they see in the marketing that they actually do then book a viewing, and that they are your ideal buyers.
Yeah, you want to try and create intrigue and curiosity, rather than people coming in thinking they have seen it all.
Yeah.
And that can go either way, really. It's a lot easier for it to go downhill quickly.
Well, it means that those decisions are being made nowhere near us. We don't not even have the opportunity to talk to them.
It's uncontrolled, isn't it?
Yeah. So they say, good marketers sell the sizzle, not the sausage.
We heard another.
What did he say?
Wait, I'm not.
Is it a bit rude?
Is it rude? Probably not appropriate.
We won't say it then. Let's not say it.
No.
But I'm vegetarian, so I'm not sure about sizzling and sausages. Sell the sizzle, not the halloumi. Doesn't really have the same ring, does it? We'll leave it there. Thanks very much for watching this Ask AJ. If you've got a question that you'd like featuring on Ask AJ, then please message us or comment below, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.